This is a radio talk by Neville Goddard in Los Angeles in July 1951. A newspaper man related to me that our great scientist Robert Millikan once told him that he had set a goal for himself at an early age when he was still very poor and unproven in the great work he was to do in the future. He condensed his dream of greatness and security into a simple statement, which statement implied that his dream of greatness and security was already realized. Then he repeated the statement over and over again to himself until the idea of greatness and security filled his mind and crowded all other ideas out of his consciousness. These may not have been the words of Dr. Millikan, but they are those given to me, and I quote, "I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefits. As I have said repeatedly, everything depends upon our attitude towards ourselves. That which we will not affirm as true of ourselves cannot develop in our life." Dr. Millikan wrote his dream of greatness and security in the first person, that is, present tense. He did not say, "I will be great, I will be secure," for that would have implied that he was not great and secure. Instead, he made his future dream a present fact. "I have," said he, "a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit." The future dream must become a present fact in the mind of him who seeks to realize it. We must experience in imagination what we would experience in reality in the event we achieved our goal. For the soul imagining itself into a situation takes on the result of that imaginary act. If it does not imagine itself into a situation, it is ever free of the result. It is the purpose of this teaching to lift us to a higher state of consciousness, to stir the highest in us to confidence and self-assertion. For that which stirs the highest in us is our teacher and healer. The very first word of correction or cure is always arise. If we are to understand the reason for this constant command of the Bible to arise, we must recognize that the universe understood internally is an infinite series of levels, and man is what he is according to where he is in that series. As we are lifted up in consciousness, our world reshapes itself in harmony with the level to which we are lifted. He who rises from his prayer a better man, his prayer has been granted. To change the present state, we, like Dr. Millikan, must rise to a higher level of consciousness. This rise is accomplished by affirming that we are already that which we want to be by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The drama of life is a psychological one, which we bring to pass by our attitudes rather than by our acts. There is no escape from our present predicament except by a radical psychological transformation. Everything depends upon our attitude towards ourselves. That which we will not affirm as true of ourselves will not develop in our lives. We hear much of the humble man, the meek man, but what is meant by a meek man? He is not poor and groveling, the proverbial doormat, as he is generally conceived to be. Men who make themselves as worms in their own sight have lost the vision of that life into the likeness of which it is the true purpose of the Spirit to transform this life. Men should take their measurements not from life as they see it, but from men like Dr. Millikan, who, while poor and unproven, dared to assume, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Such men are the meek of the Gospels, the men who inherit the earth. Any concept of selfless than the best robs us of the earth. The promise is, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. In the original text, the word translated as meek is the opposite of the words resentful, angry. It has the meaning of becoming tamed as a wild animal is tamed. After the mind is tamed, it may be likened to a vine, of which it may be said, behold this vine. I found it a wild tree whose wanton strength had swollen into irregular twigs. But I pruned the plant, and it grew temperate in its vain expense of useless leaves, and knotted as you see into these clean, full clusters to repay the hand that wisely wounded it. A meek man is a self disciplined man. He is so disciplined that he sees only the finest. He thinks only the best. He is the only one who fulfills the suggestion, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.